Welcome back to Equities Lab. For our 10th lesson, we're going to pretend like we have gotten lost. We've been hit by the men in black people who've arrived and told us it's all swamp gas. In particular, I'm going to focus on how to find stuff that you don't know where is when you're lost or confused or don't know what you're looking for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stock screener, and then we're going to put a profit margin into it. But I don't know what a profit margin is called, so I can type in profit and I get nothing. So the next thing I might try is to import a profit margin. Doesn't seem to be any profit margin there. So then I might try and search in the tools menu down here for a profit margin. Here we have gross profit, cost of revenue, gross margin. Gross margin looks interesting. There might be a net margin down here. And then we have profitability ratios. Let's open up asset turnover, DuPont analysis, Z-score. So it looks like I'm going to be looking for sales ratios. Sales to net income. That looks like a profit margin, so I'm going to drag that in. And I'm going to get sales to net income is greater than so now at this point I'm confused. I don't know whether I'm looking for a low number or a high number. So I hover over this and you'll notice that it says total revenue divided by total net income. So this is actually backwards from the way that I'd expect a profit margin to be. So if I have if this ratio is 10, then that means I have a profit margin of 10%. If the ratio is 20, that means I have a profit margin of 5%. So we're going to go look for a bunch of low profit companies by looking for a sales to net income of 20 or higher. Hopefully I should see some grocery stores and other things in this list. Next I'll look for companies that are closer to low numbers. Here, Walmart. Oh look, there's Walmart right there. Now notice that doesn't say it's a bad company. Walmart's a wonderful company, but they sure as heck don't make 20% on all the goods they sell. They instead make more like 5%. So now I'm going to go look for extremely profitable companies per inventory sold. They're not middlemen, they don't. So we're going to look for ones that have a profit margin of 20% or higher. And now notice Walmart is not on that list. Now you're going to ask me, how do I know Walmart's not on that list? And I'm going to say that, oh look, Apple's there. Well, how do I find out whether Walmart's on the list? This goes back to our theme of finding stuff. If I type in WMT right here, it doesn't show up. Now if I type in Apple, now you're going to ask me, well, I don't know the ticker for Apple. Fine, let's type in Apple the fruit. If I do that, I get things that mention Apple somewhere in their name. So Apple should be there, as should a bunch of other things. Notice only two things. There's the apple in the name. See it? So now if I type in pineapple, just on a whim, then I'm going to have one company show up. There we go. Now the next question you're going to ask is, how do I know all this? Well, I might actually go look in the online help up here. And I can see there's a bunch of quick starts, but I'm just going to click on it and it'll pop up the first thing that seems relevant, which is our online documentation describing exactly how to use the stock screener. Some of this content duplicates what we have in the video. However, you will notice that you can click along here and see more. We're going to show you how to create a large company, multiple filters, etc., etc. You can go figure out how formulas work. You can browse through all of our documentation. At the exact same time, I think we have a guide that shows you how to see your results. So in any event, moving right along here, as soon as you're done with the help, you can click somewhere else and it goes away. By the very same token, we're going to go and look at these companies and see that we're going to look at them a bit more. So we click over to results breakdown and it decides that we want some more information. So we can see that a lot of these high sales margin companies, they have an EPS that's high, and they have a sector, and they have all sorts of things. We can check the breakdown. We can see that we have a lot of financial services, a lot of healthcare, And we can now go click through and change the time span and see how our stocks would have done over small slices without having to go through the full work of a backtester. So we're going to give it 1 quarter to see what happens as we do that. So we can see that this has been a pretty miserable quarter for everyone in the high profit margin space. My very strong hypothesis is that Walmart has done better. So I'm going to go try and change that, validate that hypothesis. And see that yes, it did. Nobody did well, but some did better than others. Results by category shows that healthcare is the only thing that escaped unscathed in our particular derby of this quarter's demolition derby. So you can go back to the tools menu and I'll introduce some of the other features that you'd use to find the field you're looking for. The first thing to notice is that as you hover down, you get information describing the actual field. So for example, with PE or payables, it has an English description. You also can see that we have fields for up to 8 quarters and 7 years, although with the as of, you can clearly reach farther back into the past. This is obviously loan repayment, and you can go back and see what's going on. You can look through all these. You can search anywhere in these descriptions. So for example, notice if I search for the word policy, then I'm going to get a bunch of stuff that has to do with policies. Now I can search here and change a variety of different. So for example, I can use regular expressions. P.*y will give you all things beginning with P and having any number of characters ending with Y. So here we have anywhere within it we have a P and then we have a Y. So that's why is depository receipt showed up. You also can search just operators to find the particular operator you want, and then hover over the description and you'll see again that the when within operator lets you pull data from the past up to the present to say, well, what were the earnings the last time they changed, or what was the closing price the last time the earnings changed, or similar. And then you can see the formulas, and you can look through here and we have them all organized in a hierarchy. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to explore the Explorer. The Explorer has all the content we have in our system. Courses are simple to use guides that let you verify that you've actually learned how to use a particular part of the system, or that you understand how to screen for a particular situation or whatnot. For instance, there may be a course, there isn't currently, but we might put a course in there that makes you go through the mechanics of creating a high growth screen and getting reasonable performance. The underneath courses after that we have watch lists, stock screens, and trading models, and they're organized in categories. Now to open one of these, for example a sector screen, basic materials, if you'll notice these are categorized based on their name. Notice we have colons after the categories, so I'm going to recolonify it. Save it, and notice I've recategorized it. So now notice that it's under 3 different categories. This allows me to keep my screens organized. Notice also that when I type in I end up searching all the content available to match. So you notice we have my Hypetrovsky and so on and so forth, my formulas, every category matches. You can again sort for watch lists, screens, trading models, or formulas, and you can hover over. Some of the formulas will come with performance graphs that show how they've performed in recent memory, and that's done based on whether it's a featured screen or a segment screener. So if you scroll over here, you should see similar graphs for all of these charts.